purchase of smartphone maker Motorola could affect more than just the handset market. The deal may also shift the way venture capitalists choose which app developers to invest in. That's because Google's operating system is now taking the lion's share of the market. Rebecca Lynn of Morgenthaler Ventures says that's why her firm is now pushing companies to focus on the Android platform. She's a partner at Morgenthaler Ventures and focuses on early-stage investments in mobile and internet services. Rebecca, welcome to Bloomberg.
Thanks,
so great to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So big news today, for all of us in this industry. What's your take on what this means for Google and Android?
So for Google and Android, the word on the street is this is all about patents, and it's all about helping to protect the Android ecosystem from attacks, patent attacks by both Apple and Microsoft. I actually have a little bit of a different viewpoint on this, and I think it's the beyond free model that Google is pursuing here. So yes, it's entirely true that this patent acquisition or the acquisition of this patent portfolio will help the Android ecosystem. But imagine a world where with Google, they make all of their money on advertising, right? Their entire reason for being is really to increase the footprint of their advertising. And their advertising search business on mobile is actually a $1 billion run rate business at this point in time. So imagine a world where Google now controls the handset, can basically give that handset away for free, and they increase their advertising ecosystem by that proportion. And
you think that Android, at the end of the day, is going to win, right?
I think my fundamental belief is that open always wins versus closed, and free always trumps.
Now you have both an Android and an iPhone. Which one do you like better?
Honestly, I like the user experience of the iPhone. However, the Samsung Galaxy is coming out. That's purported to be the first Android or the iPhone killer, and that will come out here in the next, I think, 30 days or so, and people are really looking forward to that launch. So the Samsung has done, what, 5 million sales, I think, in the first couple of months. It's an incredible tear. People are looking forward to that. Now, while I prefer the iPhone now, the Android, when you look at how far it's come in a very short amount of time, it's covered a tremendous amount of ground. And when you consider the consumer value proposition, the iPhone is quite expensive, right? So when you're looking at that piece of the equation, people will accept a lot if the product is indeed free or close to it.
Now, how do you think a deal like this is going to impact how VCs view the Android versus Apple operating system,
so
iOS?
I think the VC mentality has already shifted a bit in terms of really emphasizing Android as well as iPhone. So no one will ignore the iPhone platform, but a lot of companies have already begun to first demo their product on the Android because it's so much more flexible, but the monetization is so much better still on iPhone. Now, I think over time that will change, especially as Google makes huge inroads on the Google Wallet project. And once they figure that out, I think the emphasis will shift as well.
Now let's talk about PageOnce,
right.
One of your investments, basically a kind of mobile bills organizer. You encourage them to focus their marketing spend on Android rather than iOS, right?
Correct, and actually they were spending on the iOS, and most of their volume was coming from the iOS just a few months ago. And about, was it 2 or 3 months ago, they cut all spending on the iOS platform, and their Android volume more than made up for the loss in traffic. So now they're over 50% Android acquisition.
So, I mean, do you have kind of ultimate faith in the Android platform alone?
Not alone. I think Apple will always have a space, right? And I think Apple will continue to innovate. Their product is fabulous, but I think it's a high-end product, right? And so I think Apple will be there. There's absolutely a space for it. I think we would continue to push our companies to innovate on the iPhone and continue to do so. However, Android is becoming more and more relevant as that market grows.
Interesting. All right, Rebecca Lynn, partner at Morgenthaler. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be following your investments going forward.